Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. We are streaming.
What's up, people in the internet? How we doing?
Internet people.
Oh, we're on? All right, internet
Yeah,
people.
we are on. Yeah.
We are
Multitasking over
live
here.
and in color.
In living color.
I just got to remember to hit the record button. Let's all make sure that we remember to hit that button.
You've been good with that.
I actually have been. It's good to be back. Back with my friends. Yeah. Back to talk some sports.
Oh,
Back to
yeah.
have some fun. And, yeah. Back again with everybody. Move it down.
Well,
While you're doing that, do the easiest thing you could possibly do.
And what's that, Eric?
Like, subscribe, share, follow.
Do all the free things.
Those free fun things that just take you like 1-2 clicks of your phone. I mean, like nothing to do.
I do love free fun things.
Right? I mean,
doesn't?
YouTube, at Die on This Hill, on X, at The Living Legend, at David Hastings 23, on Instagram, at Joey Doth, D-O-T-H. What does that stand for, Joey?
Die on this hill.
47. And you can always follow Louis on Instagram too at Louis the Aussie Dude. So our unofficial fourth host here. But yeah, so
Who's currently chasing deer right now? So
Yes,
he's preoccupied.
he's got priorities. He's got priorities.
And I also want to say I think there are some other priorities on Saturday evening when it came down to showing who maybe should have been put on the women's USA basketball team.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I want to hear who you're going to talk about. So I want to hear the first name out of your mouth.
Angel Reese.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
look,
balled out
I don't get
in
me
less
wrong.
minutes than Caitlin Clark too.
I will not look. I am a
Joey,
huge.
pull up the or
I am a
Steve, can you pull up those stats here?
huge Caitlin Clark fan. Huge Caitlin Clark fan. But there is no ifs, ands, or buts to me about it. That like I also believe that Angel Reese right now is your favorite for Rookie of the Year. Like I don't know how she's not. So I think that when you look at how they played that game, she looked like she belonged from the jump. And Caitlin Clark, don't get me wrong, she made some good shots. She had some nice passes, but like the physicality, the ability to fight and play that physical game that now people are actually watching WNBA basketball. They're realizing that's the type of basketball these women play. They play a physical game of basketball, and
This was the most entertaining All-Star game for sure.
I thought it was quite good. I had it streaming with my video games on Saturday night. Life was good. This was my sound. I had the video games muted. I was playing NBA 2K while I was watching WNBA.
Nice.
But
So,
not NCAA 2K.
not NCAA 2K. No.
Are you excited for that though? Is it something you want to get? Is it a game that interests you, or are you just straight like Madden, NFL, like that's it?
So my problem lies with this. Extremely happy they brought the game back. Before I say anything, let me be clear. But one of my favorite parts of playing NCAA was the ability to basically create draft classes for Madden, right? And you
remember that.
like,
Right.
yeah,
That's
like
right.
you would create a player or two, right, and put them on your college team, and you'd rock with them for 3 years. Get them up to a 99 and put them in the draft.
Yeah, and then you can select them with number one
and then you
overall
would
or something.
upload the
That's
draft
right.
class to your Madden, and you would know exactly who you were looking for, like, and you just be able to draft the guys, right? Like you loved it, so you felt like you developed these
that's
guys.
so cool. That's
from
right, man.
18, right? And I always played with Rutgers. And I always made the guys from Jersey.
That's right.
Like I always did that with NCAA, right? Like
remember
why,
this, now that you're saying this,
why
that's
would
right.
you not do
That's
that?
awesome.
Like you don't get much love for Rutgers in true, college football playoff, that type of stuff, right? Like you don't get many guys from Rutgers that have big NFL careers. So like it just was the double whammy of all these things being added together. So the problem lies in the fact that I don't know if I will ever buy another Madden again. I have bought every copy of Madden since probably, I want to say 2001, the Mike Vick cover year. I think it might be before that, but I just didn't pay for it. But either way, so you're talking over 20 years, maybe 25 years of me buying Madden. In the last 11 years, the game has barely changed. And I'm not going to give you $65 for a game that's identical to the same game that I bought 3 years ago after John Madden passed away and they put him back on the cover for the first time since the early 90s. So I bought it because Madden was on the cover, and there's a good chance it's the last Madden I ever buy until the day it kicks, or my kid wants me to go buy them the new Madden, and I'll whoop their ass in it. But besides that, like, you're not getting the money out of me. You're just not. So that's where NCAA gets screwed over for a fan like me, for my wallet, is the fact that Madden is actually the reason that I won't go buy that game.
Dude, that's awesome that you brought that up about the draft classes, because I literally forgot about that. But that we had a whole bunch of group of guys do a season in Madden, and I believe we took the draft classes from NCAA and brought them up into those. So that was cool. But I really enjoyed about NCAA was the option to pitch. You could do options in that game. That game was so sweet. And if you went to like a rivalry stadium, the controller shook. So that game is still really cool. I probably am not going to buy it. Haven't bought a football game in a little bit. I did see a video, though, of this little kid crying, of course, because he lost to his dad in the game. The little kid thought he could take dad, and the dad kicked his ass by like 50 points. And you just see the little kid crying, ready to throw the controller. And it's just hilarious
As
to me.
dads are supposed to do.
It didn't happen to me in any of the recent games, but 20 years ago, back when I was in college, I was stupid good at... I was only good at very, very, very few games. And they were all N64 games, because I owned an N64, but I only owned 4 games. I owned Tony Hawk, I owned GoldenEye.
Nice.
I owned Mario Kart,
Sweet.
and I owned NFL Blitz.
Bro,
Those are arguably
games.
the best N64 games, though.
And I only played those. But at NFL
Zelda.
Blitz, I was like ridiculously good. Stupid good. And my roommate in college, freshman year of college, I kicked the ever-living crap out of him every day in this game. Every day. So one day, he catches me coming back from a frat party. It's about 3:30, almost 4 in the morning. This kid didn't really drink, didn't do anything. He just was...
Oh, I've heard this
So
story before.
he comes to me. I get in the room, and he's like, hey, let's play. And I'm like, dude, I'm shot. I got to get some sleep. He's like, come on. I can finally beat you. This is my chance. I could do it. I'm like, dude, just stop. Like, let me go to sleep. No, come on, play me. He fires it up. So I'm like, all right. I get out of bed, sit down, I play him. Beat him by 3 touchdowns. I swiped the floor with him.
That's awesome.
The second the game was over, he took the controller and chucked it across the room, smashed it against the wall.
That's why I stopped.
And I just looked at him and I was like, you're getting me a new controller tomorrow. And he bitterly said, okay. But yeah, it was one of those circumstances though, where I felt like I was beating a kid. I'm like, you can't beat me in this game. You're never going to beat me in this game. Just stop trying.
I do gotta say though, we've all been there with throwing a controller. I know I've done it. If you haven't done it, you've come very close to doing it.
Oh, I've wanted to do it.
And
I mean,
Madden is
Wii. Mario Kart on Wii or on the Switch now. I have the Switch with Mario Kart. There's some times, man, you get some of these people in other countries, and at the end of the line, you know, you're cruising, you're in first, and then the next thing you know, you get hit with a shell, and you end up in 8th, and you just want to take the controller, throw it right through the TV, and jump through them and punch your little Mario character out, but you can't do it.
Nope.
You can't do it. So now that we've gone way off the rails here,
It's all good.
bringing it back to people who should be still playing video games, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I mean, come on, we're like twice as old as they are. Like we're ancient compared to them. Like, but they should still be
It is
playing.
depressing to think about, but yes.
But yeah, so and to go back to this game, unbelievable game. The WNBA team beats Team USA, but again,
Same thing happened 4 years ago.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to matter too much. I still think Team USA runs away with it in the women's bracket for the Olympics. But it goes to show you what the WNBA team though can bring.
Who popped off for Team WNBA? She had like 34 points. I can't pronounce her last name.
Yeah, who wants to be the first one to try?
Ujimba. Oh, there we go.
Ogunabowale?
Ogunabowale.
Oh wait, doesn't she have like an NFL brother or something?
Ogunabowale? Well, I'm sorry. Listen,
Yeah,
she is tremendous.
I do
she
feel
had a
rude,
hell of a
but, like,
game.
I literally-
She set a record, by the way.
I'm
I think
sorry.
34 points is the most for a WNBA All-Star game. Brianna Stewart not far behind though for Team USA with 31 points. I'm absolutely sorry that I'm butchering her name.
Yeah, but she kicked ass. She came out to play.
Hey, and I gotta tell you, I still stand on the fact nobody talks more women's basketball than we do.
I mean,
Like, I think we've become the women's basketball show for the internet. Like, if they are not listening to us, whether on the podcast, on Spotify, Apple, Google, or your favorite podcasting network,
We get it in
you
here.
could be watching us on YouTube. And either way, I don't think you're getting any more WNBA coverage or women's basketball coverage in general than you're going to get right here.
I
Weekly.
don't think you're wrong. On a regular basis, this started back during the NCAA March Madness
And it hasn't
tournaments, and here we are 4 months later, and we're still chatting. So, and props to them, right? That's where Caitlin Clark gets the upper hand, right? But right now, I think whether it's off of what you saw in this game and how she just looks so much leaps and bounds above her rookie class on being prepared to play in the WNBA, or how she has played throughout the season, setting a WNBA record, 15 double-doubles in a row. Like
Double-double in this game.
Like, she is, without a doubt, to me, your WNBA Rookie of the Year. I think Caitlin Clark's having the biggest impact when it comes down to numbers, financially. But when it comes down to play on the court and who looks just better at this moment of their career, it's Angel Reese. And I don't think there's another rookie you can even compare her to.
No, and I think Caitlin Clark's going to be great. But I just think she's got to get a little bit more consistent. There's just nights where, again, during this game, 2 for 9, 0 for 7 from 3. Did have 10 assists, but I mean, really didn't have a great game. But I think that I honestly think that by the time her career is over, she's probably going to go down as the best women's shooter of all time, similar to a Steph Curry. Like, she's going to go down like that. So I think that it's going to come. I think the experience is going to get there. I also think that she faced a lot of tough defense against that Team USA team. So, 2 for 9 though, doing pretty well. So, yeah, I shouldn't say she was doing well in that game, but doing well overall. And like you said, helping to elevate the game to new levels. And I think games like this and people seeing this, because this is what, to be honest, what people want to see in the NBA. Like, for an All-Star game, like, this is, I would have much rather have seen a game like this than seeing that, the absolute atrocity that we see with them throwing up half-court shots and doing all sorts of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, it's not needed. It's not necessary. But this game, to me, is necessary. And this game shows me why people should care maybe a little bit more about the WNBA and what they're doing now, because they're honestly, I like to see fight. I like to see heart. And I think the women sometimes are bringing in a little bit more than the men are.
Is
these
this our
days.
try-hard league?
This is the try-hard league.
I mean...
Right now, for sure, with the come-up and the way it's going, like, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the rookie class, like, this is the time. Like, if there's momentum that's ever going to get behind the WNBA and get it going, it's now.
And they got to capitalize on it. I saw something earlier today that the All-Star game was up 300% from last year in ratings. Like, that's insanity. Like, good for, and they had an 8:30 primetime slot on ABC on a Saturday night. Like, not really
much up against it either.
Yeah, the only thing you're going against is baseball that maybe isn't being broadcasted in every city where you're on national television on ABC. So
They had all the lights.
Damn.
and they deserved it too.
So I couldn't find it on my DraftKings app because the WNBA is on a break. But I was trying to look for Rookie of the Year odds between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. So I just put it in the old Google machine.
The Jujel?
The Jujel machine. And apparently, according to FanDuel Sportsbook yesterday, Angel Reese is a plus 700, which is a big underdog. And Caitlin Clark is a heavy favorite at minus 2,000 for Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
Like, that's a heavy favorite.
Dude, I'm about to put $50 on that.
On Angel Reese?
Why, dude?
I'm with you, because
there's-
she seems to have the better season this year, but I guess...
popularity.
Yeah.
Is it a popularity contest, or is it based off of what you did on the court?
It seems like it's a popularity contest this year.
that's
Minus
what-
2,000 means she's already got it locked up.
I mean, at the midway mark.
No, it's more than the midway mark. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's more than the midway, I think. But they're off for the next like 4
like
weeks.
a month. Yeah, exactly, because of the Olympics. But I don't know, man. It seems that Caitlin Clark has the Rookie of the Year wrapped up.
I don't know. I'd have to see how many games are left in the season. They play like 40-something games. So,
Speaking of running out of games in a season, though, might as well transition to our next one of.
Oh, okay. Maybe they are about halfway. They're about 24, 25 games.
yeah, so I got like 15 left. Here.
Apologize.
No, all good. But we're running out of time with the baseball season. Believe it or not,
Oh,
less
thank
than
God.
I know, but
No, we
listen,
got a week till
training
the
camp starts this week. No, this week training camp started.
We got a week
for a
till
lot
the
of
trading
teams.
deadline.
Oh, till
for
the trade deadline in
for
baseball. But I'm just saying we're running out of time. But we got a big series right here with the Yankees and the Mets, Subway Series. Mets
teams-
riding
both,
high, Yankees coming in low.
I was gonna say both teams struggling, or
No, Mets are actually playing it. They're I think in the last like 50 games or so, they're I think one of the best teams in baseball. I think I heard like 29 and 34 in their last like 43, something like that. Like they're playing good baseball. They did have a pitcher go down recently, Scott, I believe it was.
Christian Scott?
Yeah, that he went down with a possible Tommy John. But yeah, it's looking like listen, I'm still okay with where the Yankees are at. I think they have plenty of time to surge. I think they're going to make moves at the deadline. But at the same time, I don't think played well the first time the Yankees and the Mets played this year.
Mets swept them.
Exactly. We don't want to have a repeat of that. So let's not have a repeat of that. And let's, try to win some ball games, try to score some runs. Luis Seal on the mound tonight. They have Navarro starting to catcher. I think he's only played I don't know if he's played at all this year yet.
I don't know who Navarro is, so
Or
yeah.
Navarez, maybe.
Okay, they're giving
catcher.
Wells. They're giving Wells a day off.
Giving
I
Wells
got
a
you.
day off. But he's caught heel before, so I think it's going to be fine. They're going to need days out of Judge Soto. They need their bats to show up. They need Volpe to start hitting again. They need other people. But on the other side, you have the Mets who, since Iglesias, they brought him up. I think he's batting like 365.
He's been killing it.
Been absolutely murdering it and has been the jolt that team needed to boost him up. His single, oh my God, or whatever it's called, or what's the name of the song? Whatever,
Yeah.
OMG.
Yeah, OMG.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so ever since that and all the hype behind it, so Mets are riding real high right now. And
Is Grimace
Joey's,
still
me and
helping?
Joey have
No.
a tortilla bet, the slap bet on the Mets making the playoffs or not. I still haven't know. But right now, Joey's looking like he's going to be right on this. So,
How you guys-
how do you...
I wouldn't say that. Just because
how you guys
I'm
know what
pushing
your
the brakes
500
on that.
breakdown? Are more people over 500 or below?
There's still, I think...
While we look at that real
even out
quick,
more.
I'm gonna say push the brakes on the Mets making the playoffs. Yes, I'm still rooting for that. It's definitely not guaranteed.
You
The
basically
Mets are-
just said in different words, I want to slap you with a tortilla.
Yes, no, yeah, I definitely want to slap him
That's
too.
amazing.
But I'm saying hold the brakes because there's just such a cluster effort of teams here. The Braves only have a 3-game lead in the top spot. You got the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Pirates all within a half game of each other, and the Padres. And then you throw the Diamondbacks in there. They're only 1 game out. That's 5 teams within 3-4 games of each other.
Technically, right now,
They're
there's
all-
more teams over 500 than under.
How about that? But
Flipped around.
So who? All right. So look, Yankees, Mets, Subway Series,
It's 0-0 in the second right now.
cool. But since this is the only freaking question I know to ask at this time of year when it comes down to baseball, and thank you, Joey.
Mets
for
are holding on to the last wild card
reminding
spot.
me of this upcoming situation. Who are your buyers? Well, here we'll start based off of the series first. Is this series gonna have an impact on either one of these teams being a buyer or seller at the trade deadline?
No, well, I can't say no for the Mets. Possibly if the Mets get swept, but I don't think so because even still they'll be within a game and a half of the last wild card spot. So I think both teams are buyers. I think the Yankees are a buyer no matter what because they have 1 year of Soto. You get one shot at this. Like, there's no guarantee for next year. He's going to go for a big price tag, and it may not be back to the Yankees. So, got one and done here. So, you got to put everything you can. Maybe they trade Spencer Jones. Listen, I always think that the Yankees sometimes hold on to their prospects too long. They covet them almost too much. And Spencer Jones isn't having the greatest year this year. So if there's a year that you could still sell him high before he starts having continual bad years and then his stock drops, sell the stock while it's still high enough. Get back what you can get back to make this team better and make a run. Stanton's coming back, I think, very soon, possibly by the end of this week. So I think you're going to get some help in the lineup there because
I would just bring him back in September, man. He's going to get hurt again. just bring him back a couple weeks before the season ends.
They're going to ease him back in. He's going to DH mostly, so I think he'll be fine. Just my opinion, but I think he'll be all right. But I think both teams are absolute buyers.
But the question is, I feel the same way. I think both teams are buyers as well. But there's not a lot of teams that are going to be sellers. With baseball putting in this an additional wild card, this third wild card, there's so many teams that are in it. There's only a limited amount of teams that are going to be sellers. So it's.
But again, the Blue Jays. We talked about this when me and you did the Yankee one.
I read an article that the Blue Jays aren't going to sell Bichette or Guerrero. They're looking forward to next year, and they want to try one more year with Bichette and Guerrero because they have them for one more year.
If you could put a package together that moves the needle enough, I still try to do it.
I was all
Guerrero,
about that, but now I'm not. I'm not about that anymore with Guerrero. I'm not. Just because you kind of convinced me he hates the Yankees. So screw him. You know what I mean?
Listen, Stroman said a lot of things too that he's walked back. So I mean, listen, I think money talks.
I think Stroman was just pissed
money
that
talks
year.
and bullshit walks.
No, that's true. But I think Stroman was just pissed that year that the Mets traded for him and the Yankees didn't. We traded for J. Happ instead. They should have traded for Stroman that year, but that's whatever.
But I look at it, teams that could sell.
Both these teams have to make bullpen moves. Both of them do. I don't know if the Yankees have like an internal answer to that because they're getting Schmidt back soon. So I don't know if you put Nestor Cortez or even Luis Gil into the bullpen for the Yankees.
Nestor, it's got to be because you got to get him right. And I think shortening
sucks.
his outings.
He sucks.
But I think that's why if you said, listen, we need you for 2 or 3 strong, like get pumped for that. Like come in and give us your best for that. Like it could be a little different. Plus he's only running through the lineup once, maybe twice tops.
Oh, we gotta. But that's why I was thinking Gil because they really don't have anybody who can blow anybody away in the bullpen. They don't have any swing and miss guys. So that's why I was thinking. And Gil's not going to pitch 200 innings this year, especially coming back from Tommy John. So that's why I was thinking maybe someone like him.
Well, I'd like to welcome to the show now. As we're talking a little Yankees Mets, but I know he's a big Braves fan. Let's welcome to the show our good friend, Mr. Eric Pfeiffer. How you doing tonight, sir?
What's happening, Fife?
I feel so welcome.
How you doing tonight? What do you think? You Braves?
I'm
Where are they at?
good. How are you guys?
They're number 1 in the wild card right now, up 3+ games on everybody else. Up 3 over the Mets, actually. So, what do you think? Your Braves going to be strong enough to make a run this year?
What do I think? It's baseball. Talk to me in August.
Baseball.
We're a week from August.
Which is, by the way, training
talk
camp.
to me at the end of August.
That's going to be our next thing that we go to. So it's actually good timing he called because it is that time. You know, I don't think this necessarily goes with it, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
How about that D, baby?
It's about time to get ready for some D and some football. And training camp starting this week. Most teams, if not all teams, back by the end of the week. Some teams started the end of last week even. Veterans here now. So, listen, Aaron Rodgers coming in with a statement. And I'm going to bring this up first, Joey. So I got to get your thoughts. He strolls in wearing a T-shirt with like a Siamese cat that looks like it's like from Egypt. You know what I'm talking? Dave, did you see this
I didn't see
photo
this
of
shirt.
Aaron Rodgers walking into the Jets camp with this shirt on?
I thought it was quite funny. It's
And I'm like,
Aaron
this is the big old
F you.
middle finger
Yes.
to the organization saying, "How about them OTAs?"
Well, that's because just a day or two ago he got asked about missing to go to Egypt, and he's like, "All I did was miss 2 days of OTAs. If you want to make a story out of it, go ahead and make a story out of it. It was 2 days of OTAs."
And that's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
He was there for
But do you think he should
else.
be
Who
coming
cares?
in and like giving them the middle finger that way?
Yes, because the media sucks.
So you think that was more of a middle finger to the media,
Yes.
not the
Yes.
team?
yeah, because the
Like I
team-
think it's the front office.
No,
like
I
I
think
think
that's
he's
the
walking
media.
in saying, "Solid, this is what you're getting."
No, I think that's to the media. I really do.
the team gave him the go-ahead to go. It makes so much more sense that it'd be the middle finger to the media.
Fife, what do you think?
I agree. I think it's to the media. I don't think the team really cares what he does, as long as he doesn't tear something or miss the entire season again.
Well, see, the thing is, though,
So-
and this is the one point that I think, nobody on the team is going to come out and badmouth him. Nobody's going to want to bring that drama to. So even if you had a problem with it, you're not going to be the guy who says that you had a problem with it. So when the media comes to you and asks you, of course, everyone's going to sit there and say, "Nah, it's no big deal. It was OTAs, blah, blah, blah." But I bet you there's some guys that are sitting there going, "I'm a vet. I had to do it. What makes him so special? I got just as many, or I got 10 years plus in this league.
Maybe.
What make But I'm just saying could be something similar. But nobody's gonna come out and say that.
I really don't think anyone cares because it's not training camp. There's no pads on. Everyone's in shorts. I really don't think anyone cared. I really don't. It gave
Rodgers
Tyrod
hasn't
Taylor.
given anything to this team since he's gotten here. He's pretty much been out of football for almost 2 years now. Like
Yeah, it makes me worried.
And everyone thinks he's just gonna. The more I keep thinking about this, and I had a very optimistic look on the Jets earlier in the summer, and as time is going on, I have a less and less optimistic approach about this team because I'm sitting here going, Salah's coached no big games, coached nothing so far. So how do we know he can coach or do anything? Like Aaron Rodgers, pretty much running the show. Like, what are we really getting here? Yes, they have talent. Nobody's denying that this team has talented players on it. Dave, you're laughing at me. I want to hear what you got to say because you're laughing for a reason, but I don't get it. I don't get the hype now because I'm talking myself out of it. I just don't. The more that time goes by, I'm like, how do they really leapfrog the Bills? How do they leapfrog the Dolphins? How do they get past these other teams when all it could take is just one wrong hit to Rodgers and the whole season looks like last year all over again?
So, the old saying, right? If there's smoke, there's fire, right? There's no smoke. It's clear blue skies. He showed up to training camp. He's ready to play. He's healthy. He's good to go. None of the players have come out. There's no random stories of sources from the team have said, oh, blah, blah. Like, no. So there's no smoke. When it comes down to optimism, this team had a top 5 defense last year. If you give them even a top 12 offense, they should be fighting for a wild card. You give them a top 10 offense, they definitely have a wild card. You give them a top 5 to 7 offense, they have a chance to win the division. Oh, I'm looking at what I saw last year and the fact that this team remained competitive in how many games when they literally had a quarterback who just...
You dressed the part today. You're the Kool-Aid man.
There's just no words. I'm sorry. Look, Fife, back me up on this one, pal, please. Or did we lose him because we talked?
No, he's still there. He might be muted.
He might be ordering his coffee. Oh, you're breaking in.
hear me?
Now we got you. We got you.
It's just, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, dude. And, if there is any animosity towards him, all it's going to take is one good half of football in week 1, and all that animosity is going to go out the window. Maybe there are some guys who are not saying anything, but they're kind of like, what the heck? But it's also Aaron Rodgers. They are not on the same level as he is. There's no one in that locker room that's a veteran that's on the same level as Aaron. There's not many people in the league that are on the same level as Aaron Rodgers, so I think they get it. So as long as he comes out and performs, that's all that's going to matter. I still think they're third in the division, even if he has a great year. Even if they have a great year, I still think they're third in the division. I still think the Bills win it, even after the talent they lost. And now their offense doesn't have as many weapons. I still think the Bills win the division. I still think the Dolphins can't find a way to get around the Bills. And the Jets are going to be third, and the Patriots are god-awful.
I don't think the Patriots are going to be as awful as you think. I actually think they're going to be a surprise team this year. Not a great team, not a Super Bowl run, not even a playoff run, but I think you could see them at like 7-10,
6-11, something like that.
Yeah, like they're going to surprise a couple teams. I don't think they're going to be awful.
They're not going to be a pushover.
No.
We'll see what happens.
I think they're going to run behind a new coach.
You know,
I heard they got Jacoby Brissett is in there ready to go day one as QB1.
when my team finishes 6-11, I think they're god awful. So that's where I'm gonna go.
Wait, really quick. So before we wrap this up, if there's one thing that you want me to get mad about Aaron Rodgers for, or mad about the league and this whole experience for, if there's one thing you want to know that really freaking bothers me,
what grinds your gears,
that
Dave?
godforsaken top 100 players list.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see?
No, hit me with it. Hit me with it.
Aaron Rodgers, how many snaps did he play last year?
Four.
Four total in the first game.
Yep.
Right? Like, he didn't have 4 random plays throughout the year where he threw like an 80-yard touchdown bomb all 4, right? Like, 4 plays. I think he had 1 completion for, I think, 7 yards. That was his whole year. How in God's green earth do you get ranked number 92 in the entire league that has over 1,100 players? How do you play 4 stats? Now remember, this top 100 player ranking is strictly for the previous season. This is not ranking who you think the best players are in the entire league over the extending of their career. No, this is based off of last year and last year alone. This man played 4 snaps and is ranked 92nd. That is some of the stupidest crap I have ever seen in my life. This list is ridiculously embarrassing. It started off with respect. Like, I thought it was pretty cool. And like, I like to see how the players rank each other. But this right here, straw that broke the camel.
This?
It's the top
it's the
100
NFL.
players ranked by the players in the NFL based off of last year.
I got to gather my thoughts here. Fife, you got something on this? Because I got to gather my thoughts for a minute.
I mean, maybe it's just, this team had a lot of expectations, and the second he went down, so maybe that's where he got his ranking from. But I don't know.
Joey, can you defend that as a Jet fan? Can you defend it?
I can't defend that. The only thing I can defend is there's another list that came out as well. The top 100 athletes since 2000, and Aaron Rodgers is 91st on that one, which I actually think is a little low considering he's a 4-time MVP and he has a Super Bowl ring, yada, yada, yada. But I don't even think he should be on the 100 athletes of top NFL players this past season. He played 4 games. Like Dave said, he played four snaps. I mean, not even 4 games. So he shouldn't even be on the list. So NFL players, I guess they just have that much more respect for Aaron, and that's why they put him on the list.
See, and I hate that list, right? Top 100 athletes
Since 2000.
Since 2000. Why are you doing team sports?
No, I
If you're
going
going to compare individual athletes,
should be like
right,
Olympic
like-
athletes or something like that. You're saying?
it should be individual. Like, how? Like, look at the individual sports. Like, let's look at those sports.
So you're saying like golf?
Yeah, like
Soccer? No, soccer's a team sport.
A team
Tennis.
sport. Like, the greatest player in the world can make other players better around them, and that deserves recognition. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But you're talking greatest athlete. I think it's so hard to look at team sports compared to individual sports like a tennis or a golf or like, I don't know. I don't like how they do that. I get why they do it because let's be honest, most of our athletes play team sports, so I understand it. But I don't like it. Like, it just doesn't seem like a good way to do have metrics against people. Like, how are you coming up with this information?
And why is this person above Kawhi
Yeah.
Leonard? Who is Orange Jackson?
I don't know. That's my. So Eric, I don't know if you gathered your thoughts there on Rodgers in the top 100
Sorry, Lauren
list
Jackson.
or the other top
to
100
me,
list.
To me, it's players placating to Rodgers. And that's really what it goes down to with this whole story is because that's what the Jets are doing. That's what everybody's doing. Nobody wants to look bad to Rodgers. Everybody wants to be his buddies, but this, that, everybody wants to stay cool. You know, everybody. So are they going to vote him bad? Are they going to vote him off the list? Are they going to make him not top 100? Are they going to leave him off? No, because again, they want to see him there. So I don't know. I got a real problem with this because I agree with you 100%. Out of 1,100 people, if you play 4 snaps, you don't deserve to be on the list. You're off. If
you see a list of like you can't vote for this guy.
Yes,
like these guys are gone. None of them played more than
I think
half of football.
But I think if you can't get
4
past
games
like
played
if
or
you
something
can't get
like
past say the trade deadline, that maybe should be the marker. Like then you don't deserve to be on this list because you have to have some kind of buffer. You have to have something there,
A
like
qualifier.
qualifier of time. Like I play in the dart league. You have to qualify for the playoffs in the dart league. You got to play in at least a game and a half a week. Or whatever it is, like to qualify.
Same thing with the batting title. You got to qualify a certain number of.
You got to qualify to vote on this stuff. They should be 100% left off, and I don't know why. I'm with you, Dave. Why they wouldn't be left off? Why you would allow them to vote? And I get that they're a player in the league. I get that they're like, oh well, he was still in training camp, and he still did. He didn't make an impact. If anything, he made a negative impact on his team because when he got hurt, they went down the toilet. They became one of the worst teams in the NFL without him.
Yeah, like I mean, by that logic, give him the MVP.
Exactly. I mean, it's stupid. So I'm with you 100%. Absolute hot garbage. This list, and
Garbage.
I'm throwing it out the window because, to be honest, I don't give a damn what the players think because they're in it. They're playing it. Good for them. The rest of us are out here being armchair quarterbacks, judging it. That's what we do. We sit here on Sundays. We put in our fantasy football lineups. We make Throw Better too on one of them sites out there. And then you know what? We're armchair quarterbacks who sit here and judge them. That's what we do. So we should be ranking them, not them. Because they don't deserve to rank themselves if they're going to come out with lists this stupid.
I have a question. So say the division plays out, like I said, Jets go third, and they get a wild card spot, lose the first round of the playoffs. Sal out?
Yes.
Gotta be.
Yes.
At that point,
I think
probably
everybody's
tearing.
out.
At that point, you keep Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, some of your young guys that you know are.
And I mean, how
studs, and
stupid
tear it
does the
apart.
GM look like now for going out and making that move for Reddick, and the guy's
It looks
holding
dumb
out?
now. Yeah.
I mean, so stupid.
I was all for the move until now.
I mean, that was the thing.
I was like, bro, get him in the camp. Let's go.
Everybody assumed when they made the trade that they were going to give him a new contract. That's why you make a
That's why you
trade
made the
like
trade.
that.
Speaking of moves and new contracts, you guys got any thoughts on Ayuk? Because now the 49ers are saying they want him to still be a part of the team this year. He's saying, screw you, I want to trade.
He's at camp.
He's there,
Well, he's
but
a hold
again,
in, not a hold out.
Yeah, he's
a
a-
hold in.
He's
so he
saving
doesn't
himself $50,000 a day, and then he gets to talk to the media every single day.
And he
gets
keeps
to
saying-
apply all the pressure on San Fran instead
Yep.
of having.
Well,
it
San
be on
Fran's
them.
done this like 2-3 years in a row. They did it with Debo. Debo came out and said he wanted to be traded, and they got it done. They did it last year with Bosa, so it's probably going to get done sometime during the training camp. And I think Ayuk will be back with the Niners. So I think at this point, you needed to trade him during the draft and not now. Because at the draft, you could have had something to help you for this year. At this point, the only person I would trade him to is the Raiders. So for Devontae Adams, because you'd get back a stud receiver as well. Other than that, you're just getting draft picks and nothing to help you for a championship run this year.
I'd be so miserable.
I would trade him to the Chargers for Khalil Mack.
Oh, there you go. I mean, there's
Which
moves
we
you
all
can
know
make.
the Chargers could use a receiver. I mean, if I'm the Chargers, I'm keeping them in California, and I'm trying to make that. If I'm the Chargers, I'm trying to get a hold of Brandon Ayuk.
And the one thing
that
you
makes
both-
They
sense,
need
too.
somebody for
Right.
Herbert to
So
throw the
much
ball
sense.
to.
one thing both of you agreed on was get him out of the conference. So
True. Both bringing them to the AFC West.
there you go.
But that makes sense. You got the Harbaugh connection there. So that actually does make sense, Fife.
over or under 50% chance that he's back with the Niners this year.
So over would be that he is, under that he isn't.
Yes.
I'm taking the over.
I'm going over.
After what they did with Deebo Samuel, they're playing the same playbook. You know, like.
But is it going to work the same every time? I actually think he's going to get moved.
So
I'm with Eric. I think.
All right, so
Maybe that's why they
split
drafted the
here,
receiver.
2-2. All right, how about that? How about them apples?
Also,
Split 2-2.
wasn't the Washington also someone a top team?
Destination.
Yeah, destination. That's the word.
That's
Thank
all.
you. Man, my brain is fried. Gotta start reading books, man.
No, listen, I don't know why. I don't think that moves the needle for Washington. That's just my opinion.
I mean, Jaden Daniels is going to have a rookie of the year level year for them to really be a competitive team in my eyes. And you got they took and you got to hope he stays healthy. I mean, they took him, and they struggled so much last year because they almost set the NFL record for most sacks given up in an NFL season. They had the record
Just don't
locked.
think.
Yeah, like if you can't protect your rookie quarterback, he's not going to do anything for you.
Well, I don't think Ayuk's a guy that they really would need. If I'm Washington, whatever they call themselves now, I'm not going to be. The wide receiver's not on my list. I have Scary Terry. I think Dotson has a bounce back year in his third year, so I just don't think Ayuk is a guy that they necessarily need to make big moves for. You know, New England makes sense to me, and the Chargers make sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't think of New England, but I could see that. They really don't have anybody outside of what's his name?
Polk, the rookie, basically.
No,
they drafted a few rookies.
Who's the guy that shined for them last year? at
Hunter
wide receiver?
Henry.
At wide receiver.
Well, they have Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah,
I think he got hurt last year.
Bourne was really the only.
Bourne's another guy who
exciting,
came from San Fran.
Guy that they
That's
had.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I could see New England. They could use some type of number one.
I was watching the Rich Eisen show yesterday, and they were saying that there was 5. The Niners let Ayuk during the summer, during the off season. They let him go find offers, and there was 5 suitors that were willing to pay him $28+ million and trade for him. So the Niners should just give him the money, because there are teams out there willing to do both.
I think you should trade him then. Get what you could get, and then save that money. Because, to be honest, I'm telling you, the wide receiver market in a couple of years is going to crash out. There's so many good wide receivers coming in the league year after year that it's going to get flooded the same way the running back market did, where you can just pick up a good back in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round.
They're just trying to ride the Brock Purdy rookie contract, man.
That's it.
that's
They're trying to
the
save the
thing.
money. So if you could save $28 million, not pay Ayuk, guess what? You could afford to pay Purdy a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, not everybody can get the bag, dude. You know, Debo got the bag. Not everybody can get the bag.
Yeah,
I'm with you on
most
that.
got
And they're
yeah,
going to have to pay
Warner,
Purdy.
There's a lot of guys getting paid on that team. That's why they're so
Well,
damn
it all
good.
depends on
Right.
how much Purdy's going to get paid.
and McCaffrey, don't forget, they just upped him.
They don't pay a lot of people in their secondary. It's the linebackers, their front 7, their offensive line. I mean it's
And
chestnut
they're good year
checkers,
after
right?
year.
Like, it's chestnut
Sounds
checkers,
like
right?
they might
You
have
gotta-
found a formula that
You gotta
works.
pay the right guys at the right positions from how you play the game. But yeah, I don't know, man.
And they also had that kid Juwan Jennings show some flashes last year towards the end of the year, being able to do maybe a few
I think they paid him.
Ayuk type things. You know,
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the guy they
they're
need.
not short of riches.
No, I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. I mean, I don't think that I'm dying on that hill saying that.
I mean,
to
you
be
can
honest
die
with
on the hill, but you're not going to be alone up
It's
there.
a small hill though. I don't feel like you'd have to.
It's kinda like a bump.
Yeah.
The one thing though, I
Speed
don't think they can use Christian McCaffrey as much as they did last year. I really don't, because I feel like he got worn down by the playoffs and he was exhausted by the Super Bowl. That's me. He had a lot of wear and tear. He got injured in the playoffs. I don't think you can use him as much as you did.
But I think that's what they got him for, is to use him though. And I mean, he is in the red zone. You can't not have. He is the red zone. He's a red zone monster.
I'm not saying don't use him in the red zone, but maybe
I'm just
use
saying,
him
like,
a little less in, if you're at
yeah.
So instead of 25 to 28 touches a game, you're
using
knocking down
20,
to like 18 to 20.
Yeah.
And then you give him
sprinkle
in the playoffs.
Correct.
Sprinkle in Jennings, maybe Debo with a couple carries.
Yes. Sprinkle in some more people.
Eli Mitchell.
Yes, Elijah Mitchell and
Mitchell was hurt a lot of last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason they had to overuse McCaffrey. Could be wrong, but I think
Quarterback,
you're right.
Quarterback GMing right now. Quarterback GM.
Listen, we're armchair quarterbacks here. That's where we are. We're armchair warriors. It's
That's an armchair GM and not quarterback GMing.
Speaking of GMing, have you guys touched on or talked about or watched any of the Hard Knocks?
I love it.
Nope.
yeah, but I gotta tell you, I kind of wish that I didn't.
Why? You don't like it?
No, because I don't like what I heard about my team.
Oh, I got
I don't like, to be honest, it made me not like Shane as much. It made me not like, again, because when I'm
Because he's got to go through the hard decisions of being a general manager.
But I don't
in the
think it was
NFL.
that hard. They never even made an offer to Barkley. They never even tried. To be honest, I don't think it was ever really in Shane's mind to ever re-sign him.
I agree.
So I just think that whole bullshit of like, oh, well, yeah, no, go out there and test the market and then, come back to us. So promise me you'll come back to us. And I mean, all of that was just bull.
I don't think they ever expected him to get like a $13 million a year offer.
Come on.
I really don't.
Somebody was going to give him the money because, and again, it was a team that's close. It was a team that a piece like him can push over the edge if they have the cap space to do it. And the Eagles have a lot better cap space, and they're in a lot better. They're not in the cap hell that the Giants are. Now I get it. There's some of that still from the Gettleman years, but we're now getting into like year 3 and whatever with Dable and Shane. They got to start. It's now going to be theirs and their mess, and they got to figure it out because the Eagles can somehow pay AJ Brown. They could pay Hurts. They could pay Smith. They could pay Barkley. They could pay everybody and still have a really good team. We can't pay anybody, and we're throwing out dog shit.
Listen, and from the start, dude, how much I love Saquon Barkley. I'm happy they didn't re-sign him. I'm happy they let him walk. It's just way too much money to throw at a running back position where I think Devin Singletary is going to give him more.
We're just becoming the Buffalo
down.
Bills South, though. Come on, admit it a little bit.
But I really do. I really think that Singletary gives you more on first and second down. Like Barkley's numbers are all inflated by a couple big plays here and there, but he's not the guy who's hitting the line. Whether the offensive line was good or not, he's the guy who's hitting the line of scrimmage and getting you 4 yards when you need 4 yards. He just wasn't doing it here and there. Yeah, but like. You need that to start the drive, not on like a 3rd and 3, and then all of a sudden he wants to power through the line. I don't know. And I thought it was funny how, Mara was kind of meddling in it. And I mean, I don't know if you noticed it in the last episode, like how much I'm pretty sure Shane just blatantly lied to him when he was like, yeah, it's not looking like Philly. Who did he say? Like Pittsburgh or somebody else? Sounds like Pittsburgh's coming over the top. But we're not going to be able to offer him this money,
Is that or Chicago?
I mean, that was a blatant lie. Dude. That might have been, I think it was Chicago. It was Chicago. I think that was a blatant lie. Like, I think he knew all along it was going to be Philly. And I don't know. I feel like going to a team that just lost. Yeah, am I here?
Yeah, you got it. You're back.
All right, so going to a team that just lost the best center since probably Jeff Saturday in the NFL. I don't know if that was his best option, to be honest. I feel like he could have found a better fit for himself.
No, I think that's a great fit because they have so many weapons that the attention's not going to be on him. The attention's going to be on Hurts. It's going to be on Brown. It's going to be on Smith. It's going to be on it's going to be on all the.
I think we're downplaying. I think people are overlooking the impact a guy like Jason Kelsey has on a football team and on their offensive line. I mean, the guy was telling Hurts not to call certain audibles. Like he was calling plays from the center position.
This is. Wait. Here's what I have to say to that.
Fuck the Eagles.
I don't know if that came through on your end, but
first
yeah,
time,
I mean, listen, I'm going to be using it all season long too. But yeah, that's what I got to say because the Eagles, yes, I 100% agree. They're not as good at center this year without Jason Kelce. I also think, and when I'm on the record, I'll die on this hill. I think he's overrated. I died on that hill with you guys
Jason
when we talked
Kelce?
about when we talked about him being a first ballot Hall of Fame or whatever.
He's a 6th, 7th round pick. He ain't overrated, bro.
He's a great center, but I just think people are like, oh my god, he's one of the. I just think people need to pump the brakes on like one of the greatest ever, because I don't think he's in that
I
conversation.
don't know, dude. I really do.
I
really do.
I know
I think he's the best.
Dave and Joey both agree with you. I'm the only one dying on the hill that I think he's a little bit. So I mean, but I just think that you look at all the other weapons, you know, and they still have the rest of the line. I get the brains of it, but again, they still. I don't know who they went out and filled it with. I'm gonna look it up real quick, unless you know it off the top of your head.
I think they drafted somebody. Real quick though, while you're looking that up, I know you're upset that the Giants didn't sign Barkley and whatnot, but Shane even said in the episode they need O-line help. So if you would have signed Barkley, who knows if you would have gotten John Runyon, because the Jets were in on him, and they were also in on the tackle you guys signed, Alou Manure. Those are 2 key guys for you guys right now on your offensive line. So if you would have signed Barkley, maybe your offensive line is trash then this year. Not trash, because you still got the 3 draft picks, but maybe it's just not as good this year.
Giants are going to be garbage this year.
I don't know.
I'm getting more and more convinced of that.
And they wouldn't have been able to get Burns either.
Eagles,
correct.
Just to follow this up, Cam Jurgens, it looks like he was a 2nd round pick in 2022, 6'3", 303. He's been with the Eagles, so he's kind of been underneath Kelce for the last couple years. Time to step up and see what he can bring. He looks like he is number 1 on the depth chart for them right now. We'll see how that progresses. Yeah. So, but again, 24 years old, big Nebraska Cornhusker. I feel like he's going to do.
I mean, that's what they're hoping
fine.
for. They got their next guy for the next 10 to 15 years.
But Pfeiffer's right, man. It's all about brains at that position. It's about spotting what the defense is doing and helping out the quarterback. And if he's not, nearly as good as Kelce is at calling out the plays, that Eagle offense could definitely struggle. Especially since they have a new coordinator again this year.
I think they're going to be a juggernaut this year.
I
think they're going to be an offensive powerhouse. I think
they should.
I think the Dolphins are going to be an offensive powerhouse.
In the Chip Kelly system, they should be an offensive powerhouse, but it might take them a little bit to get used to the system and whatnot.
I think they're going
to get 3 years in a row of new systems.
Do you think Philly's going to be Jalen Hurts is a running back that plays quarterback?
Yeah, now you got a 2-headed monster in the backfield.
That's great. We saw how well the Dolphins made it.
I'm telling you, you're going to see it with 2 teams this year. You're going to see it with the Eagles with Hurts and Barkley, and you're going to see it with Jackson and Henry. I think you are going to, if you have a Derrick Henry that can go into a 4th quarter of a game fresh, it's going to be a
pounding dime.
It's going to be game over for a lot of teams. Especially because if he takes half the amount of carries, because Lamar's going to take the other half, he's going to be that much better. And I look at both of those teams as I don't know who's going to stop it. Because then when you try to, the Ravens have been getting better on the outside, and clearly I like Brown and I like Devontae Smith with the Eagles. So if you're going to put 8 in the box, 9 in the box, and stop the run, you got to stop those guys. And I just look at it, and I look at both these teams, and I think they could be like to the moon. And I think the same with possibly Miami. I think Miami could have a juggernaut of an offense as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the Ravens but I think the Eagles are going to compete and probably win the NFC East, but I don't think they're going to be a juggernaut of a team. I just don't see that one happening. I think, like I said, I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll probably win the NFC East, but I don't see them being a juggernaut.
Go ahead, Fife.
I heard something today. I heard something today. Like if you're picking preseason Super Bowl picks, I think the best odds that I heard were Detroit plus 1,200. Detroit at the NFC. I think they have the best offensive line right now.
No, I think
they just have to figure out how to. I think they have to figure out how to tighten up defensively. And I think at plus 1,200 preseason bet Detroit Lions, I think that's a really good bet. But then to go back real quick to Hard Knocks thing, I want to say that my favorite thing from it so far was watching the interviews for the draft. I thought that was awesome.
Well, that's exactly where I got
down.
this from.
Fuck the Eagles.
And
That was Drew Lock during one of the interviews.
Fife, I love that Dable was like, yeah, do you think I can run a 7-second 40?
He's not running a 7-second 40.
Nah, and it was really cool because they showed Worthy as well doing it the first time, and everybody kind of wanted him to do the second time because he was so close to the record, and then he did it. It's kind of cool seeing the insights of the draft and whatnot. It kind of is.
Like, oh, well, no, he beat it. Yeah. But you see how they changed time. A tenth of a second or a second or whatever.
Yep. And I think tonight's episode, you get to see them draft Malik Neighbors.
But again, you kind of
Yeah,
already see that they didn't really want Malik Neighbors. They wanted a quarterback.
They want to move up.
They wanted to move up. They didn't get a chance to do it.
I don't
so
know.
Now they kind
I
of
still
are
don't see that.
settling on Neighbors. I mean, come on. They and the Daniel Jones, why they're holding on to him, it infuriates me, the comment of, why am I going to have my $40 million quarterback handing off to a $12 million running back? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, comments like that, like, you shouldn't have a $40 million quarterback because you never should have paid this person to begin with. Like, that's where I stand. They never should have paid Jones to begin with. So now they're stuck with him for another year. They're going to try to convince the fan base that he's the guy when we all know he isn't. And we know that they wanted to move up and draft somebody else. So again, this year to me is a lame duck year because we don't have our guy in place. Now, maybe they need to draft their own guy, and I'll give them the opportunity to do that and bring in their own guy, create their own thing. But we know Daniel Jones isn't their guy, and they should have just gotten rid of him. But I know they have one more year of guaranteed money, and that's why they didn't, and that's why they can't. They didn't have that money guaranteed to Barkley. So I get the decision in some ways, but in others,
And so I just from the clips I've seen, I still don't see them dead set on moving up to get a quarterback. They talked about it. They said if we can, let's see what we can do. But if we can't do it, like we're ready. Let's get Daniel a weapon. Like I still don't see them saying like this is something that we need to do. I haven't seen that yet. This is the episode where we're going to find out how that really went down. And if there were trade talks and things like that going on that were crazy. But I didn't see them dead set that they need to move up and get somebody. I think that they were happy to stay at 6. If something came along that benefited them, they would have taken it. But I don't think that they were willing to reach in a trade just to move up for one of these guys. And that's how I've always felt. So I think tonight we're going to find out. But I've seen nothing from these episodes telling me that they were dead set that they needed to move up.
Well,
Plus,
we'll see for sure. But like you said, tonight we'll see
I
for
thought
sure.
Dable was drooling over Malik Neighbors. That whole last episode. Well, I think they got the guy they wanted.
1-0 Yanks, by the way, over the Mets. Joey just gave me a little score update. And Fife, while we got you, I want to transition to our last topic of the day here. And I think you're going to be on board with me because I think you're somebody who gets pumped up, not just for America, but you get pumped up for the Netherlands, you get pumped up for other countries out there. Are you looking forward to the Olympics?
Forward what?
To the Olympics. Starting Friday.
Yeah. I like the Olympics.
Yeah? What's your go-to?
I mean, I'm more of a
I know you're more of a winter guy
I mean,
because
I'm
of
more-
hockey.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Winter Olympics guy because of all the I like the skiing, I like the speed skating, I like all that stuff. Summer, it's whatever. I mean, I'm not going to watch Olympic basketball. I don't know. I don't like watching guys run around a track. Like I'd rather watch them speed skate around a track. So I mean, I guess I'm a little bit pumped up for it, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to watch it, to be honest.
No, but over the next couple of weeks, there are going to be plenty of nights where there's like nothing on, and you're going to check it out at least to get a medal count.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a look and maybe watch a shot put or two.
Need that medal count.
America. But I know Fife roots for the Netherlands. He
Olympics
roots for
don't
some
do
of
it
the
for
other
me.
team. He roots for some other countries out there. So
I do that with the Euros.
you do that with the Euros.
Yeah, with soccer. Heritage.
Yeah, me too. And then
Euros
in the World
going
Cup
on,
for
yeah.
soccer.
Yeah.
I root for U.S.
For
first
soccer.
and then Heritage after.
Yeah.
Right. For soccer for me, it's always the Netherlands.
Even in the Olympics. So right now, Olympics wise, Netherlands play U.S. You're taking it. You're rooting Netherlands.
In soccer?
In soccer,
Hockey.
football, whatever you want to call it.
Just soccer.
Oh, okay.
Just soccer.
All right, just soccer though. Interesting. So, well, I mean, I guess I haven't seen it. I haven't seen many great swimmers from the Netherlands or anything. Usually they're from like Australia or like one of those other countries. I guess that's why you would kind of pull more in the soccer. But I enjoy the swimming. I enjoy all that stuff. Like I do. I agree with you 100%. I don't necessarily enjoy people running around a track, but the pole vault, certain things like I don't mind watching some of that. Some of them are like I couldn't do what they do for sure. You can give me snap those poles in half. Those poles couldn't hold me.
Oh my god, Eric!
You get up a foot and then boom.
Oh my
Exactly.
God. That's the hope you only get up a foot. That thing holds you about half.
Nah,
When I jump,
just to
you
explain the
slide a piece
soccer.
of paper under there.
Yeah,
Just to explain the soccer part of it, why I root for the Netherlands is because my mother was born in Amsterdam.
Cool.
And so I grew up, my grandfather was a big soccer player over in the Netherlands. And so I grew up and it was just like World Cup, Euros. It was Netherlands, Dutch soccer was just something that, it was just, something we always watched. And my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather were always just very, very, into it. And so it's just something that I grew up with. So that's why I always root for them over anybody. I'm part German, but I don't necessarily sit there and root for Germany. But for Dutch soccer, it's just because my mom still speaks Dutch to my grandmother. It's just a big part of it. So that's the reason why soccer is the only one I really root for Dutch.
You do
Dutch
come from
over
two
anybody else.
really good soccer countries. I'll say that much. The Netherlands and Germany are both always competing for some top spots. So you do come from some good soccer heritage one way or the other.
Yeah, and brother, a good soccer player. Me, when I first started playing soccer, I tried goalie, and my grandfather had to come get me out of the net because I got stuck in the netting while I was playing with the netting.
That's awesome. That's a good story.
That is a good reason
So
why you never played soccer.
So I used to just follow the pack around. I wasn't even worried about the ball. I just saw the kids run one way, I'd follow them, and then they'd run the other way. And then so they're like, "Well, let's let them try goalie." And then I got stuck in the net like a spider web.
I just played karate against the posts. That's all I did. They put me in goal.
And then I put a football. Then I played sports where you put helmets on and hit people, and things went a lot better for me.
Well, that's one way to finalize things.
Right?
Put on helmets, hit people. Things went a lot better for me.
I had a transition there and I completely blanked on it.
Well, I think I can tell you that
LeBron James.
Oh wait, that's exactly where I was going to go. Thank you. I don't know how you did that.
Because it says
Yeah,
Bronny's still terrible.
Well, no, that was Bronny Jr. and we know he sucks. So I just wanted to say for all time here, if he makes it to the NBA, it's complete nepotism. Like there's no doubt about it. Like he is there strictly because LeBron said you're playing him tonight with me on the court. Like that's it. Like because he sucks and he shouldn't. He doesn't deserve an NBA spot. Somebody in his position last year who was drafted 55th in the NBA. You know how many minutes they played in the NBA last year? 4 total minutes.
Oh,
and
really?
It was all in one
Really?
game. 4 total minutes, and it was all in one game.
That was just
That 55th pick. He doesn't even deserve those 4 minutes. He is garbage. But you know what else kind of like I want to get your opinion on, and we'll leave the show with this. But to bring it to LeBron and that point, what do you guys think about him being the flag bearer and chose to be the flag bearer for the country? Because, I mean, I just think that this is like, oh, hey, here's the flag, our biggest star. And not necessarily, is that what you do? Is that who gets it normally?
It's voted on by the athletes.
correct.
All the athletes from
It
the
is.
country vote, and whoever wins the popular vote's the one that carries.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not know that. So I learned
But
something
you
new.
have to keep in mind, a guy that's been in the eye of the sports world for over 20 years now, this is guaranteed to be his last Olympics.
Is it?
I don't know unless
Is it-
Bronny Jr. is
is
in the
it-
next
So-
one.
And his other son.
So I do think part of the reason for him winning the vote is the fact that a lot of people wanted to give him that honor for his last Olympics. So I think that's part of it. Giannis is carrying it for Greece, and there's one other NBA player.
Got to be Luca, no?
No, Schroeder.
Oh.
Schroeder's carrying it for Canada.
Germany.
Germany, yeah. So you got 3 NBA players.
Schroeder sounds like Germany to me.
Yeah, 3 NBA players that would be carrying the flags. But I think LeBron's makes sense. He's
Is
the
it 'cause
most
they're
famous
tall?
athlete out of every person that's competing in these Olympics. Nobody is more famous than LeBron James. So
Question for you. Speaking of popularity and nobody more popular, if Caitlin Clark had made the Olympic team,
no,
would she have been
no.
the pick?
I don't even think she would have gotten a vote.
Really?
Yes, considering
Most popular player in the world, probably, maybe right now. I mean, she's becoming a household name out there. You don't think she would have got any consideration?
maybe some consideration. Definitely would not have been the one to vote though. That
Fife,
was
what do you
for a
think?
fact.
No, absolutely not. And I for a second there, I thought maybe these countries basketball hold the flag up high.
Oh no, it's just voted. So cool little fact that I actually learned just the other day when they announced it.
Listen, I didn't know it either, so I learned something new. I didn't know they voted on it like that. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty wild. But you know what else is pretty wild and something that everybody out there can do? Hey, if you like voting, if you like clicking on things and voting, you might as well click on some things, like it, subscribe to it, share it, follow it. Kind of like this show, Die on this Hill. You can do all those things for free and help us out. YouTube at Die on this Hill, Spotify, Apple, all your favorite Apple or podcasting apps of choice. Feel free to like, subscribe, follow, share.
It's free.
And it's fun.
You just
Do
have to
all the
click a
fun
button.
things.
That's all.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it. So until next week, my friends, Mr.
Actually,
Fife.
I am. I will be a non-participant next week. I will be in Atlantic City.
Okay.
So next week I will.
Little middle of
not
the
be-
week AC trip? Is it got to be work related?
Going down Monday and not coming back till Wednesday night. No, one of my really good childhood friends is coming out from Colorado with her husband. So
Very nice.
Me and Amanda are going down on Monday, and they're going to meet us on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're driving them back to Wildwood, where they're actually staying for the week, to so I can see her parents and their kids for a little bit before me and Amanda hit the ride home. So
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, I hope
so-
you guys have a great time and a great week. Enjoy.
may the gambling gods.
Joey,
be
I'm
kind.
sure I'll see you. We'll coordinate.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
maybe
out.
it'll even be on a Thursday. Maybe Dave will be here.
There you go. You never
Hey,
know.
you
Because
never
I don't
know.
know when my days off are, so we're
So you never know. It's a grab bag. It's one of those days, either Monday through Thursday. It could be any one. Pick a,
Forget about it.
forget about it. But thank you as always for joining us, Mr. Eric Pfeiffer. You got any last words for us?
I mean, thank you very much for having me. And I just want to say, if you guys haven't looked into doing some NFL best ball drafts, it's never too early. They're really fun.
What is it?
I have the NFL best ball. I have about 20 rosters right now
Holy
going.
crap!
They have two different kind of drafts where you can do either 30 seconds per pick or you can do 8 hours per pick. The majority of the ones I do are 8 hours per pick because it's just, then you can throw 20 teams in there and, every so often it pops up on your phone. Hey, it's your pick. And if you're going to do it, go wide receiver heavy.
So what kind of draft
does.
is this? Like
does.
It's a
It's fantasy football.
So it's fantasy football. It's best ball. So it's basically like daily fantasy, but you don't have to look at it. You draft a certain amount of players, and then each week, whoever performs the best is put into your lineup for
You get
2 running
optimal
backs,
lineup.
2 wide receivers, quarterback, tight end, flex. You get optimal lineup every week. You get your total points. Basically, what it does is it breaks it down. There's like a couple 100,000 people in it, but it breaks it down into 12-team leagues. And if you place top 2, then you move on to the next round.
Huh. Oh, so each
Which
week is
site?
basically a round.
Which site is this on?
So I do it on DraftKings. So basically, if you get say you get 200 points week 1, so you get your 200 points, and then you're ranked 1 through 12. The next week it resets, so it doesn't just add your best. It resets, and then your best lineup for that week is then put in. And if you get 210 points, then now you have 410 for the season. So it resets every week, but your points from the week prior are added to your next week's points. It goes through the first 14 weeks. You have to be top 2. Like I said, I'm in 20 of them because there's like.
Are they free?
You know how if you do daily fantasy? No. You know how if you do like daily fantasy,
Probably like $1
and they have like the 20 entry max contests.
Yeah.
For like $3 an entry. That's what this one is that I did. So I had some money left from last year's DraftKings. So it was, I did $23 entries for $60. So I have like 12 teams already drafted, and 8 still drafting. And I started back in the beginning of July.
That's crazy.
So I've been just having fun with it all month.
See, I always have a trouble drafting so early because in the next 3 weeks there's going to be some injuries. And that is where now you're stuck with a guy, and if he's hurt every week, putting up 0 points, what do you do?
That's why you get.
Well, let me tell you. So let me give you an example here. Do we have time for me to give you an example?
Yeah, quick example.
All right. Let's look at this team here. You get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get a lot of different. So you get your roster, and then you have like 10 bench spots. So like a lot of what I've done, and all the 12 teams that I'm drafting with in each league are all drafting as early as I am. So like say anywhere I have DeAndre Swift, I try and get myself Khalil Herbert, right? So I have his backup. So that if Swift goes down, I got Herbert. It doesn't change. There's no free agency. There's nothing like that. So your roster is your roster. So that's why like a lot of my teams have like 8 wide receivers on it, 6, 7 running backs, 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends is generally what I do. I've got myself 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, and then I go the rest are wide receivers and running backs, and I go wide receiver heavy because it's PPR. So like I have guys that I think are going to have good years. And then I have a lot of Rashee Rice. I have a lot of guys that I think are going to have good years, and if they get hurt,
isn't Rashee Rice still in some
and then also
legal issues though?
Not yet.
I don't know if you can count on Rashee
so then
Rice.
also
I take
though,
a
when you
little
get
focus off of that because he's still got some
fine.
legal issues.
But there's also
charges.
Right, but there's also guys, so once you start getting into your bench spots and stuff, right? Like I look at guys like Khalil Shakir who can have Rashid Shaheed who can have a week where they go for 30, and that's going to be 30 points that you get, but you're not expecting it every week. But he's a bench guy, so there's a big strategy to it. Last year was a good learning experience. I think out of the 20 rosters I did, I had about 5 move on to the second round. So I ended up making, and then another one went into the third round. So I ended up making some money off of it. In my first year, and I learned a lot. And there's definitely some serious strategy to it. You can read about it. So I think I'm in a better position this year.
Well, I wish
but
you
they're
luck,
fun.
my friend.
They're fun. Like I said, you do an 8-hour draft, and each player gets 8 hours per pick. So like it takes a month almost to draft a team.
Jesus Christ.
That is a long time.
That's
But
great.
I do 20.
I'd almost prefer the 30
20 and
seconds
then
pick, and I'm done with the draft in 10 minutes.
Nah.
Yeah, no, so a lot of people like that too. I prefer the 8-hour ones. I did a couple 30 seconds too, but I prefer the 8-hour ones.
Well, listen, I wish you luck. I hope all your rosters nail it. I know fantasy football is right around the corner. I honestly haven't really begun to start thinking about it yet, and although I probably should. Although I don't really know how many leagues are going to be in this year. So,
dude, I got ADPs
One,
locked
maybe
down.
2.
So I know I'm in at least 2 leagues. At least 2. But yeah, looking forward to it. And until next week, Dave, I hope you have an awesome vacation.
Well, thanks, pal.
Where can people find you?
David Hastings 23 on Twitter. Feel free to follow, but more importantly, follow, like, and subscribe to We Die on This Hill, or Die on This Hill. We Die on
There you
This
go.
Hill.
We do. We die
I mean,
on
we
the
do
hill.
Die on This Hill,
We
but
do.
like, Die on This Hill is the right name.
Mr. Eric Pfeiffer, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was a
Cool,
pleasure
man.
having
People
you
can
back.
find me here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Fife.
Till
Thanks,
next
Fife.
week. And Mr. Joey, where can they find you? I know we talked about it before, but why don't you hit him up with it again?
On Instagram at JoeyDoth47.
And that Doth stands for what?
Die on this hill.
Let's go.
You can follow me at The Living Legend. Follow our 4th co-host, or our 5th now, Louis, at Louis Aussie Dude. And follow us on all your favorite podcasting apps of choice and YouTube at Die on This Hill.
Appreciate you.
And until next time, don't be afraid to have an opinion. Don't be afraid to die on this hill with us.
Let's go.